Do you really think they'll survive this? Mara's voice was tight, laced with disbelief as she stared at the massive observation screen. We don't have a choice, Dr. Kale replied, his eyes cold but sharp, scanning the readings that flickered like heartbeat pulses across the dark console. If humanity fails, everything else fails. A sudden low hum echoed through the chamber, vibrating under their feet. The steel walls of the orbital lab shuddered as if the station itself were aware of the coming storm. Lights flickered. Somewhere deep within the core, machinery groaned under stress. Mara's fists clenched. This isn't just another test, Kyle. This is them against a god. Kale's lips curved into a shadow of a smile. Exactly. Outside the reinforced glass, the void stretched infinitely, a black canvas dotted with stars like distant eyes. Floating in the distance was the anomaly, a swirling mass of energy, alive, unpredictable. It had appeared 3 days ago, and in that short time, entire fleets had vanished. No warning, no negotiation, only silence and destruction, and humanity? Humanity had volunteered. Captain Lior, standing a few steps behind them, tightened his grip on the rail. He was young, but his eyes held the hardened focus of a man who had stared death in the face too many times. "You really believe humans can make a dent in that thing?" he asked, the words barely above a whisper. Kale's gaze didn't waver. "It's not about making a dent. It's about proving that the mind, the will, the unpredictability of humans can be the weapon no machine, no alien, no cosmic anomaly can predict." Mara's breath hitched. She had seen the simulations. The humans selected were not super soldiers in the conventional sense. They were ordinary engineers, thinkers, teachers, but each had a spark of cunning, audacity, and sheer defiance, something that no one, not even the most advanced alien intellect, could anticipate. The screen flickered again. A single ship blinked into view near the anomaly, its hull gleaming faintly against the black void. It was a human vessel, the Ardent. Inside, the crew braced against the rumble of reality bending around the anomaly, a force that made their instruments scream in confusion. Lieutenant Sarah, young and fearless, tapped her console with a calm that belied her pounding heart. "Sensors are unstable. The energy readings are off the charts. We're seeing patterns and then nothing. It's like it's mocking us." Her captain's voice cut through the comms. "Then let it mock us. We're not here to be predictable." A pause heavy with tension. Mara's eyes narrowed. "They're swaggering into death." Kale leaned back, watching, not swaggering, calculating. Humans don't just react, they improvise. That unpredictability is what they lack in strength. They make up for in cunning. The anomaly pulsed suddenly, a massive wave of light and shadow rippling across the station's viewport. Instruments screamed. Mara stumbled back, clutching the rail as alarms blared. The voice of the AI filled the chamber, cold and detached. "Warning. Structural integrity compromised. Gravitational flux detected. Estimated time to critical breach 23 minutes. The clock had started. Outside, the Ardent dipped closer, the crew staring into a reality that warped around them. No weapon, no plan, no alliance had worked against the anomaly. Nothing. And yet, somewhere in that fragile ship, a human mind was about to try. Mara swallowed hard. "If they fail," her voice cracked, "everything ends." Kale's gaze remained locked on the anomaly. "Then they won't fail. Not because they're the strongest or the fastest, but because humans are the ones who turn fear into fire." And in that instant, the anomaly pulsed again. Bigger, brighter, more violent than before, as if sensing the challenge. The Ardent rocked in its invisible grip, systems flickering, alarms screaming. A single word from Mara escaped her lips, barely audible. "Go." The screen zoomed in, and the tiny silhouette of humanity's last hope entered the swirling chaos. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the pounding of hearts, the hum of machines, and the distant, eerie roar of something that might very well be alive. Watching. And somewhere deep in the station, Kyle whispered more to himself than anyone else. "Let them see what humans are capable of. Let them see why we are our own weapon." The countdown continued. 22 minutes. The Ardent shuddered violently, tossing the crew against bulkheads and consoles. The anomaly wasn't just a force, it was a mindless shifting storm, impossible to chart or predict. Yet the humans moved with a rhythm that no algorithm could replicate. Captain Lior's voice rang out, steady and commanding, cutting through the chaos. Sarah, Vector 32, compensate for gravitational shear. Now. Sarah's fingers danced over the controls, sweat dripping from her temple. Vector adjusted. But the readings, it's learning from us. Then let it, Lior shot back. Humans adapt faster than any pattern it can memorize. Keep pushing. Around them, the anomaly's light twisted, colors bleeding into impossible shapes, voices whispering in frequencies their ears couldn't detect. The Ardent's instruments screamed warnings of hull stress and energy overload. But the crew didn't flinch. This wasn't just survival, it was a statement. Below deck, Engineer Tamsin slammed open a panel. Sparks flew. The power grid is spiking. If we don't stabilize the main conduits, we're going to blow ourselves apart before it even touches us. Lior's sharp gaze swept the room. Then stabilize it. And don't just follow the schematics, think. Humans don't just solve problems. We invent solutions under pressure. Tamsin hesitated for a fraction of a second, then a grin flashed across her face. Then I guess it's time to make art out of chaos. Somewhere far away in the orbital station, Mara and Kale watched silently, the tension of hundreds of miles condensed into the pulse of a single screen. The anomaly rippled again, reacting to the Ardent's movements like a predator tracking a stubborn prey. Kale leaned forward. It's testing them, probing for weakness, and every time it finds none, it grows. Frustrated, Mara's fingers tapped nervously on the console, or amused. Maybe it doesn't expect them to fight back like this. Ordinary humans against an unknown god. It should be terrifying. Kale's eyes gleamed. Exactly. That's why it's already lost. It doesn't understand that humans thrive on impossible odds. That's what makes us dangerous. Back aboard the Ardent, Sarah's voice broke the tense silence. Hull breach detected, port side. 5 minutes to collapse unless we divert all energy to structural stabilizers. Lior's jaw tightened. Do it. And reroute auxiliary power to the pulse shields. Time is a weapon, crew. Use it. Tamsin's hands moved faster than thought, wires sparking, conduits sizzling, energy rerouting like a symphony of controlled chaos. Her mind raced through calculations no AI could process in real time. And yet, for all their precision, the anomaly reacted, bending space around them, stretching reality into a nightmarish kaleidoscope. The Ardent's lights flickered. For a moment, the crew glimpsed shadows that weren't theirs. Tentacles of darkness, stretching, reaching, whispering in a language older than stars. Don't panic, Lior barked. His own pulse thrummed in sync with the ship. Fear slows us. Adaptation kills fear. Remember who we are. Sarah gritted her teeth. We're human, she said almost to herself. And we're not predictable. A silence fell. A heartbeat stretched across eternity. Then the anomaly pulsed violently, as if it had just realized the audacity of its challenge. The ship rocked. Systems screamed. And yet, through the chaos, the humans moved like dancers threading through a storm. Below decks, Tamsin laughed. Short, sharp, incredulous. We're alive. And it's freaking out. Outside, the anomaly shimmered like liquid light, twisting and reassembling. But something had changed. Patterns it had predicted now faltered, calculations thrown into disarray by intuition, improvisation, humanity. Mara's voice trembled, but only slightly. They're doing it. They're proving him right. Humans are their own weapon. Kale nodded, silent for a moment as he let the truth settle in. Not strength. Not technology. Mind, courage, will, audacity. That's what no species, no god, no anomaly, can ever fully predict or control. Back on the Ardent, Lior's gaze swept across the crew. Sarah, Tamsin, and the others, all ordinary humans, yet extraordinary in defiance, were working in tandem, improvising, daring, thriving in the impossible. The anomaly pulsed again, brighter, more violent, almost furious. It had met the humans' audacity and could not comprehend it. And in that moment, the crew of the Ardent realized something terrifying and exhilarating. They were not just fighting for survival. They were teaching the universe what it meant to face humanity. A crackling voice from the anomaly, distorted but somehow intelligent, hissed across space. You are unpredictable. You are... The transmission cut. Silence. Sarah exhaled slowly. It's thinking, or maybe It's scared. Lior's grin was dangerous and confident. Good, let it be scared. We'll use that fear, and in 20 minutes we'll show it that humans aren't just alive. We're unstoppable when we decide to be. The screen in the orbital station flared. Mara and Kale watched, hearts hammering. 20 minutes left. And the humans, ordinary but extraordinary, were about to prove that when the universe tests humanity, humanity strikes back harder. The countdown ticked mercilessly. 21 minutes. The anomaly roared in silence, a cosmic symphony of light and shadow that bent reality around the Ardent. The ship's hull creaked like it might tear apart at any second. Inside, the crew moved with deliberate chaos. Fast, clever, fearless. Ordinary humans performing extraordinary calculations under impossible pressure. Pressure spike in the aft reactor. Tamsin yelled, sparks flying as she welded a bypass in real time. We're a hair away from meltdown. Lior's jaw tightened. Then make the hair thicker. Divert every joule to stabilizers and pulse shields. We're threading needles with fire, crew. Let's sew this storm shut. Sarah's fingers flew across the controls. It's adapting. Every move we make, it anticipates. It's learning from us too fast. Lior's eyes narrowed. Then we'll make it unlearn. Human unpredictability isn't a tool, it's a weapon. Let's make it a war it can't comprehend. Below deck, Tamsin gritted her teeth, sweat blurring her vision. I've got a theory. It's not just energy-based. It reacts to emotions. Fear, hesitation, even doubt, it uses that. Sarah's eyes widened. So if we stay unafraid, stay defiant, stay human, Lior finished for her, voice cutting like steel. Exactly. That's the key. It can't predict courage. It can't compute audacity. The anomaly pulsed violently, light washing over the ship in waves that bent perception. Crew members staggered as gravity warped unpredictably. Ceilings became floors and floors ceilings, shadows leaping like living things. For a heartbeat, the universe itself seemed unstable. Lior gritted his teeth. Focus. Eyes on the instruments, hearts on each other. Humans are not just flesh and bone, they're will incarnate. And right now, will is all we've got. Tamsin's hands flew, rerouting power as sparks rained around her. I've never seen anything like this. It's thinking, I swear it's thinking. Yes, Lior muttered under his breath. And that's why it will lose. Humans think too differently. Instinct plus creativity plus stubbornness. You can't calculate that, Sarah swallowed hard. We're really doing it, aren't we? Holding our own. Not just holding, Lior said, eyes blazing. Teaching. Teaching the universe that humans don't just survive. They fight, they improvise, they dominate when cornered. The anomaly pulsed again, louder, stronger, as if sensing their intent. Reality twisted around them. Outside the viewport, stars elongated into streaks of light, shadows crawling across the ship like invisible hands. The Ardent's alarm screamed, hull integrity at 33%, 20 minutes and counting. 20 minutes. Mara's voice echoed through the station, tense. They're running out of time, Kale. If they fail... They won't fail, Kale interrupted, calm as a predator watching prey stumble. Because fear isn't in their vocabulary. And when the universe underestimates humans, that's when we win. In the Ardent, Tamsin laughed, sharp and wild. They're not just a force. They're a problem it doesn't understand. We're writing the equation it can't solve. Sarah nodded, eyes flashing with defiance. Let's show it that humans are unpredictable, unstoppable, unbreakable. The anomaly pulsed again, more violently, bending space around the ship. Instruments went haywire. For a moment, Lior's reflection in the viewport looked like a ghost against an endless void. Shadows of his crew multiplied, twisted, and yet they moved as one. Precision in chaos, courage and terror. Hold it together, Lior shouted, voice cutting through the distortion. Your minds are sharper than any blade. Your instincts are weapons sharper than any cannon. Tamsin's welding torch flared. Sparks flew. It's faltering. The patterns aren't stable. Sarah gritted her teeth, focusing every ounce of will on the ship's systems. It's not ready for us. It's never met humans like this. Outside, the anomaly shimmered and paused, almost hesitant, as if it realized that the humans weren't just reacting. They were teaching, innovating, bending reality with defiance, improvisation, and sheer stubborn courage. The Ardent lurched, systems screaming, lights flickering, shadows twisting unnaturally. And then, for the first time, the anomaly pulsed with hesitation, as if unsure how to respond to the audacity before it. Mara whispered from the station. They're proving it. Humans are their own weapon. Kyle smiled faintly, almost serene. Not just humans, this crew. Ordinary minds, extraordinary will. The universe doesn't calculate human spirit. It never has, it never will. Lior gritted his teeth, leaning over the console, voice low but firm. 20 minutes. 20 minutes to make history. 20 minutes to show that no force, no anomaly, no machine can predict or contain humanity when we refuse to be contained. Outside, the anomaly trembled, pulses uneven, colors flickering. It had never faced defiance like this. It had never faced the human mind, unpredictable, audacious, unrelenting. And in the briefest of moments, for a fraction of a heartbeat in the endless void, the humans realized they weren't fighting to survive. They were fighting to define themselves. The countdown ticked on. 19 minutes. And somewhere deep in the anomaly, something began to understand, but it was too late. Humans had already decided. The Ardent quaked violently, and the hull groaned like a living thing being torn apart. Shadows stretched unnaturally along the walls, twisting into shapes that weren't there a moment ago. Every instrument flickered, then screamed alarms in unison. The anomaly was no longer observing. It was striking. Lior slammed a hand against the console. Status report now. Tamsin's voice was sharp, almost manic. Hull breach, port side, level 3. If we don't seal it, we'll be vacuumed out before we can even think. Sarah's hands trembled but moved with precision. I've rerouted auxiliary power to the shields. But the anomaly, it's reading our every move. Every time we stabilize one system, it attacks another. Lior's eyes burned with defiance. Then we fight smarter. Humans are not predictable. That's the advantage it doesn't understand. It reacts, we adapt. Every breach, every surge, turn it against itself. Below deck, Tamsin's fingers flew across the console, rerouting power in ways no engineer was supposed to manage alone. Sparks flew around her, and the acrid smell of burnt circuits filled the compartment. It's like the ship is a living puzzle, and we're solving it under fire, she muttered. Sarah leaned over her console, voice low, steady. The anomaly thrives on fear. If we falter, it wins. We can't show it doubt. Lior glanced at her, pride and tension in equal measure. Exactly. And humans don't falter when it counts. We improvise, we defy, and we fight with everything we are, even when the universe screams against us. The anomaly pulsed again, brighter, violent, its light bending space around the ship. Gravity became inconsistent. The crew stumbled as floors became walls and ceilings became floors. Shadows of themselves multiplied, twisting unnaturally. For a moment, Sarah glimpsed herself reflected in a broken viewport, staring back with the same determination and audacity she felt inside. A voice hissed through the comms, distorted, almost sentient. You are unworthy. You cannot survive. Lior's grin was fierce, dangerous. We can survive. We will survive. And if you think fear will stop us, you're already defeated. Tamsin laughed, sharp and defiant. I've never been this alive. It's like chaos made flesh, and we're the only ones dancing through it. The Ardent shuddered again as the anomaly reacted. Lights flickered, machinery groaned, and for the first time, the crew realized that this was no longer just a test of strength or speed. It was a test of humanity itself. Sarah's voice cut through the noise. I can keep the shields up for another 10 minutes, but after that... Lior's gaze hardened. Then we make 10 minutes enough. We use every ounce of wit, courage, and stubbornness we have. Humans aren't just survivors. We're architects of our own fate. The anomaly's light warped, pulsated, and twisted reality outside the viewport. Shadows reached toward the ship like invisible fingers, probing, testing, and yet inside the crew moved with calm determination. Minds sharp, instincts honed, courage unbroken. Mara watched from the orbital station, heart pounding. They're not just holding on. They're teaching it a lesson it doesn't understand. Kale's lips curved. It's learning too late. Fear, hesitation, doubt, none of those are present. And humans thrive when the odds are impossible. Back on the Ardent, Tamsin shouted over the alarms. I've rerouted auxiliary power through the pulse shields and reinforced the hull with emergency magnets. We're holding, for now. Sarah's eyes flashed. Captain, we're approaching the core distortion. If we don't act, it'll tear the ship apart from the inside. Lior clenched his fists. Then we act. Humans don't just survive, they dominate. Every threat is a challenge. Every challenge is an opportunity. And every opportunity is ours if we refuse to fail. The anomaly pulsed again, almost hesitant. It had faced humans before, but never like this. Never against minds that refused to break, spirits that refused to falter, audacity that refused to bow. For a heartbeat, the Ardent hung in the balance, trembling between annihilation and triumph. Shadows danced across walls, lights flared, alarms screamed, and yet the humans moved in precise chaos, improvising, calculating, defying the impossible. Mara whispered, almost in awe. They're proving it. Humans are their own weapon, Kale nodded. Not just humans, this crew. Ordinary lives, extraordinary courage. That's what the universe never learns. And that's why we survive. Outside, the anomaly pulsed one last time, hesitant, confused, perhaps even afraid. And for the first time it realized that this small crew, ordinary and unremarkable to anyone else, might be the universe's most dangerous force. Unpredictable, unrelenting, unstoppable. The countdown ticked. 18 minutes. And deep within the anomaly something stirred. A thought, a calculation, a realization. But it was too late. Humanity was already in motion. Lior's voice rang through the chaos, steady, unshakable. Let's show it what humans are capable of. Let's prove we're our own weapon. The Ardent drifted in the warped glow of the anomaly, every instrument screaming warnings that the human mind refused to hear. Shadows twisted unnaturally across the ship, reaching, probing, testing. And yet the crew moved with deadly precision. Ordinary humans wielding extraordinary will. Hull integrity down to 28%. Tamsin yelled, sweat dripping from her brow as she rerouted power through emergency conduits. Sparks flew around her like fireworks in a storm. If we don't act now, we're toast. Lior's eyes narrowed, jaw tight. Then act. Don't just act, invent. Humans don't survive by following rules. We survive by rewriting them. Sarah's hands trembled slightly but moved with sharp determination.
Captain.
The anomaly's energy patterns, it's trying to anticipate us, but it's failing. Lior's grin was dangerous. Good, then we make it fail harder. Humans are unpredictable. Audacious, fearless, every algorithm it runs will be wrong. Every calculation meaningless. Tamsin's welding torch flared. I've never seen engineering like this. It's not just survival, it's improvisation under fire. Pure art. The anomaly pulsed violently, light spilling into the Ardent like molten metal. Gravity shifted unpredictably. Floors became walls, ceilings became floors, shadows multiplied. Yet the crew moved in perfect synchronization, improvising, calculating, adapting with instinctive audacity. Core distortion approaching critical, Sarah shouted. If we don't stabilize the flux, the ship will tear itself apart from inside. Lior's gaze swept across the crew. Then we stabilize it differently. Humans aren't bound by conventional thinking. We invent, we defy, we dominate. Tamsin's grin flashed through sparks. Then I guess we're about to dominate. She slammed her tools into place, rerouting energy through unconventional conduits, bending the ship's systems in ways no schematic would allow. Outside, the anomaly reacted violently, pulsing, warping space, reaching out with invisible tendrils. But for the first time, hesitation flickered across its chaotic energy. It had met humans before, but never like this. Never against minds that refused to fear, spirits that refused to bend, audacity that refused to be contained. Sarah's fingers danced over the controls, rerouting power, recalibrating shields, improvising faster than any AI could compute. It's faltering. Its patterns aren't stable. Lior leaned over her console, voice calm and sharp. Good, keep pushing. Humans aren't just surviving. We're teaching it lessons it cannot comprehend. Tamsin laughed, sharp and wild. It's like chaos made flesh, and we're the only ones dancing through it. The anomaly pulsed again, brighter and faster, reality warping outside the viewport. For a moment, the crew glimpsed shadows that weren't theirs. Twisting, reaching, but they moved as one. Precise in chaos, courageous in terror. Mara and Kale watched from the orbital station, hearts hammering. They're not just holding on. They're breaking its expectations, Mara whispered. Kale's lips curved faintly. It doesn't calculate courage, intuition, audacity. Humans aren't predictable, they're uncontainable. And that's why they win. Back on the Ardent, Lior's voice was calm, almost serene in the storm. We have a chance. One chance. Humans don't just seize moments, we create them. Improvisation, intuition, defiance. That's our weapon. That's us, Sarah nodded, eyes flashing. Then let's make this moment ours. The anomaly pulsed violently, almost as if sensing the human's intent. Light and shadow twisted around the Ardent, instruments screamed, and the ship groaned under the stress, but the crew moved with audacious precision, turning the storm into a battlefield of human ingenuity. Tamsin shouted over the alarms, "I've rerouted the last of the auxiliary power. The pulse shields are holding. For now." Lior gritted his teeth, leaning over the console, heart pounding in sync with the ship. 20 minutes. 10 minutes, 5, it doesn't matter. Humans don't measure by time. We measure by defiance, audacity, and will. And right now we're rewriting the rules of survival. The anomaly paused, hesitated. Its chaotic pulses faltered. It had never faced humans like this. Minds that refused fear, spirits that refused to bend, audacity that refused to yield. Mara whispered from the station. "They're proving it. Humans are their own weapon." Kale nodded, voice low but full of awe. "Not just humans, this crew. Ordinary lives, extraordinary courage. The universe never calculates spirit, and that's why it loses." Outside, the anomaly pulsed one last time, unsure, unstable, faltering under the audacity of human will. And deep inside, something that might have been thought or awareness stirred, but it was too late. Humanity was already in motion. The countdown ticked relentlessly. 17 minutes, Lior's voice cut through the chaos, steady, unyielding. "Let's show it what humans are capable of. Let's prove we're our own weapon." The Ardent trembled as if the universe itself was testing its resolve. Every light, every console, every shadow seemed to pulse with the anomaly's chaotic will. Gravity twisted and jerked unpredictably, throwing the crew against walls and ceilings as though the very laws of reality were conspiring against them. Lior steadied himself, eyes sharp. "Status." Tamsin's voice cracked, but she didn't falter. "Hull breaches are multiplying. Port, starboard, aft. If we don't stabilize the core now, we'll implode in the next cycle." Sarah's fingers danced across her console like a pianist performing a symphony. "Core energy is fluctuating at impossible levels. Every adjustment we make, it adapts instantly." Lior clenched his fists. "Then we stop reacting. Humans don't just react, we dominate. Improvisation, courage, audacity. That's our weapon. That's us." Tamsin's grin was fierce through the sparks. "Then let's make it unforgettable." The anomaly pulsed violently outside the viewport, colors bending reality into impossible shapes. Shadows twisted, stretching into impossible angles. Yet inside the Ardent, the crew moved with deliberate chaos, improvising, calculating, thriving in the eye of a storm no mind could fully predict. Sarah's voice rose above the alarms. "Captain, if we push the core any further, the ship could tear itself apart. This is the edge. And if we fall?" Lior's gaze swept the crew. "Then we don't fall. Humans aren't designed to surrender, not to machines, not to aliens, not to anomalies. We survive by defying, by refusing to yield, by turning fear into fire." Tamsin slammed the final conduit into place. Sparks flew, the air thick with heat and electricity. "It's holding on for now, but it's unstable. We're dancing on the edge of oblivion." Sarah's hands didn't stop moving. "Captain, I see a pattern, brief, fleeting, but it's there. If we exploit it, we can destabilize the anomaly itself." Lior's grin was sharp, almost savage. "Then we exploit it. Humans don't wait for victory. We create it. Every challenge is an opportunity. Every impossible moment is a weapon." The anomaly pulsed brighter than ever, almost screaming in defiance. Its energy waves crashed against the Ardent, yet each wave met ingenuity, courage, and human audacity. Hull reinforcements strained, shields flared, and still, the crew moved as one, a single force of determination threading through chaos. Mara's voice trembled in the station's observation deck. "They're breaking it. They're bending the impossible to their will." Kale nodded, eyes gleaming. "Not by strength, not by firepower, by thought, by courage, by refusing to be predictable. Humans are the weapon the universe cannot calculate, and they're proving it." Inside the ship, Lior's voice rose, steady, commanding. "Sarah, Tamsin, now! Push everything through the core's unstable nodes. Exploit the pattern. Make it see chaos it cannot control." Sarah hesitated, her pulse hammering. "If we fail, it'll tear us apart." Lior's eyes blazed. "Then fail forward." Humans turn risk into strategy, fear into power. We've never been better at being alive than in this moment. Tamsin slammed the final controls into place. rerouting energy in a surge of brilliance that defied every known principle. The anomaly pulsed violently, reality warping, colors screaming, shadows reaching, and then for the first time, hesitation, instability, confusion. Sarah's voice was almost a whisper. It's faltering. It doesn't understand. It can't predict us. Lior's grin was sharp as a blade. Exactly. Humans don't need to be stronger, faster, smarter. We need courage, audacity, will, and right now that's unstoppable. Outside, the anomaly twisted, pulses erratic, energy fracturing. The ship rocked violently as reality itself seemed to fracture. Yet inside, the humans pressed forward. Fearless, unyielding, unstoppable. Mara whispered, awestruck. They're proving it. Humanity is its own weapon. Kale's lips curved faintly. Not just humanity in this crew. Ordinary people, extraordinary courage. The universe never calculates spirit, and that's why it falls. The anomaly pulsed one final time, energy fracturing like shattered glass, reality bending beyond comprehension. And deep within, something that might have been thought or awareness faltered. Too late. Humanity was already in motion. The countdown ticked relentlessly. 16 minutes. And for the first time, the universe seemed to pause, watching humans do what it could never predict. Survive, defy, and dominate. Lior's voice, calm and fierce, cut through the chaos. Humans don't just survive impossible odds. We make them our own. Let's finish this. Let's prove we're the weapon no force can control. And with that, the Ardent surged forward, a fragile vessel threading chaos with audacity, daring the anomaly to strike. And for the first time, it hesitated. The Ardent hung on the edge of annihilation, reality bending violently around it. Every alarm screamed, every light flickered, every shadow stretched impossibly. The anomaly pulsed, unpredictable, chaotic, almost alive in its fury. And yet, for the first time, hesitation marked its movement. Captain... Sarah's voice trembled, though her hands didn't stop moving. The pattern. It's stabilizing. There's a window, small, but enough. Lior's gaze was sharp, unwavering. Then we take it. Humans don't wait for chances, we create them. Every impossible moment is ours if we decide it is. Tamsin's grin flashed through the sparks around her. Let's make history then. Full surge through the core. All power, all energy, everything we've got. The anomaly pulsed violently, bending light and space, its tendrils of shadow stretching impossibly close. It tried to anticipate, to calculate, to dominate, but it couldn't. Humans weren't predictable. Humans didn't follow rules. Humans improvised, adapted, and defied. Now, Lior shouted. Energy surged through the Ardent, conduits flaring, shields blazing, hull straining against impossible forces. The anomaly screamed in a language of light and sound, a cosmic roar of chaos unable to comprehend the audacity before it. Sarah's fingers danced over the final controls, heart pounding in sync with the ship's trembling hull. We're threading the impossible. The anomaly pulsed once, violently, and fractured. Light bent backward on itself, shadows twisting into incoherence, space folding like paper under impossible pressure. For a heartbeat, the Ardent seemed suspended between annihilation and triumph. Lior gritted his teeth, voice low and steady. Humans don't just survive. We dominate the impossible. We turn fear into fire, chaos into strategy, and right now that's unstoppable. Outside, the anomaly fractured further, its chaotic energy unraveling, destabilizing under the audacity it could never compute. It had never faced humans like this. Ordinary minds, extraordinary will. Courage, cunning, adaptability. A combination no machine, no alien, no cosmic force could predict. Tamsin's laughter rang sharp and wild. We're doing it! We're bending chaos itself. Sarah exhaled, almost in disbelief. It's faltering. It can't recover. In the orbital station, Mara and Kale watched, hearts hammering. They're not just surviving, Mara whispered. They're teaching the universe a lesson it will never forget. Kale nodded, a faint, satisfied smile on his face. It's not the strongest who survive. It's the ones who refuse to be predictable, the ones who refuse to surrender. Humans are their own weapon, and now, the universe knows it. Back aboard the Ardent, the anomaly fractured completely. Space twisted violently one last time before snapping into stillness. The ship, battered, trembling, scarred, drifted in a calm void. Silence hung like a held breath. Lior's voice was quiet now, calm but fierce. We did it. We survived. Not because we were stronger. Not because we were faster, because we refused to be anything less than human, because we turned impossible odds into our own weapon. Tamsin slumped against the console, laughing through exhaustion. I never thought, we actually, Sarah smiled faintly, voice soft. We always knew humans are unpredictable, audacious, relentless, that's why we're unstoppable. The anomaly's energy dissipated, leaving a fractured, quiet void. Stars shimmered normally, light returning to the galaxy as if nothing had happened, but everything had changed. Somewhere in the vast expanse, something had learned a truth it could never fully compute. Humans are chaos incarnate. Mind and spirit combined into a weapon the universe itself cannot control. Mara's voice trembled with awe. They've proven it. Humanity is its own weapon, Kale nodded. Not just proven. They've immortalized it. Ordinary minds, extraordinary courage, audacity, will, that's what the universe cannot predict, and that's why humans endure. Leor looked at his crew, battered, exhausted, alive. We faced annihilation and walked through it. Not because of technology, not because of rules. Because of us, human, unpredictable, unstoppable. Sarah nodded, eyes glinting. And that's something no one, no thing can ever take from us. The Ardent drifted slowly forward, the calm of the void settling around them. Shadows of the anomaly lingered, but they were broken, irrelevant. Humanity had proven itself not just to the universe, but to itself, and somewhere deep in the void, a truth whispered across the stars. Underestimate humans at your peril, because humans are not weapons made. They are weapons born.